before cooking anything, I like to have a clear, clean space. Cooking tips with Glehno. Done. Now, for potato bake, a good ingredient to have is potato. I think it's time to rescue that poor naked potato. For potato bake, it is suggested that you have 4 potatoes, large potatoes. So, since these aren't really large, I am going to go with 6. Another thing that we need for potato bake is a shallow dish. I'm going to use 2. Now, well, this one isn't too bad. It's fairly stable, but lots of potatoes are not stable and they roll around. And one thing I find that really helps to stabilize a potato that you're trying to cut is decide which side you want to be the floor, and that makes it a lot more steadier. If I do it this way, and I pop them into the shallow dishes, raw like this, it'll take about an hour to cook. So, I think I will boil them first. It'll just take about 30 minutes to bake in the dish instead. Now some of you may be thinking, well, by the time you've boiled the potatoes and then put them in the dish to cook for 30 minutes, it'll probably end up being roughly an hour anyway. Yeah, well, that's probably right. But I find that if I boil them first, then I know for sure that when that dish comes out of the oven, all of those pieces are going to be cooked. Now, because I've decided to use 2 dishes, I've got to make sure that the grates are in the right places. Ah, gee. Now those potatoes sound like they're coming along quite well. I don't want them to get too soft because then they will be considerably more problematic to cut into thin slices. Now I want to find the really thin ones that I've already cut. If they stay in here much longer, they're just going to disintegrate and they'll be, well, pretty much useless. It's 1. Okay. Thanks for spitting at me. And 1 more. It's actually 3. Finally. Have you ever played that game? Hot potato? Woo! Here, catch! Hot! Happy thoughts! Happy thoughts! Now, while those cool down, I will heat up oven. Put it about 125. They say on the tin there that put all your slices in and then chuck the sauce on top. I think what I'd like to do is do a layer of potatoes and then put a bit of the sauce on, then do another layer of potatoes and the sauce again, and then so on. I might also find that I will only need one dish. Oh, I love these tins. You don't need to have a tin opener. But you do, however, need to have nails. Trust an eye for an eye. I'd rather not get splattered on. So much for that. Now if I had some kumra, or if you're not familiar with that term in your country, sweet potato, then I would like to have added that to some of the layers. And also a bit of pumpkin, I reckon, too. 1 and a bit potatoes too many. But that's alright. I'll put this in the fridge. I am going to buy myself a pan on Wednesday. And for Thursday morning, I'll fry this up in the pan with some eggs. As a last minute thought, I'm going to add a red onion. It's usually advisable to slice your onion away from you, but I sort of have problems doing that. Just whenever you cut it, and however you cut it carefully. Now, the other thing I like to do, and you may have heard of this tip, saturate it with water. You generally find that when you cut your onions, you don't cry. Red onions in particular are quite violent. They seem to have a bit more kick than the white ones. Yeah. Red onions have more of a kick. I'm thinking sad thoughts now. Oh, these red onions are brutal. Absolutely shocking. Oh. Oh. Can someone wipe my tears? If you have seen my cooking tips before, you know that I like to get every little bit. Now, if you have used a grater before, with ones like this, generally you will see people doing this. But again, I do things differently. I prefer to grate it like this because, well, for one, my arm doesn't get so tired, and two, will come apparent soon. You know, I would like some peace and quiet now and then. Fridge, do you always have to talk to me? So the second reason is so then you've caught it all, and it's a lot easier to just pan out and sprinkle. Now, I can put it in the oven. Now that should be nice and warm. Oh yes, I'm feeling that heat. Ah, lovely. Really? Yeah, I know it's warm, but I don't want you to burn. And the can suggests that we pop it on 190 degrees. And I'll be putting it in for about 35 minutes. I'll come back to you in 35 minutes, which will seem like a second. Yeah. Well, it's been a good 35 minutes, or a good second. And there is some good smells coming out of this here oven. Alrighty. Oh, yes indeedy doody. Ah. Not bad, not bad. Now, you can never have too much cheese. Because now we're going to be changing from baking to grilling. Change the bake setting to grill. About 15 minutes or so. Ooh. Well now. That is smelling good. But this should last 2 days. One would hope. Sensational. Something coming out of a can. Cheers.